All right, going live now. All righty. How's it going, everybody? Yo, yo, yo. Good evening, everybody. What's up, everybody here on TikTok again? Link in the bio if you guys want to hop on. Um, Gonna try and make this introduction relatively short, go over the news really quickly. Really just quick glimpse at some of the plays that we had today. I know some of you guys obviously know which ones we're gonna talk about. Macy's, what a rip! I mean, what a play today. Macy's was not. There was a couple of different fee or Microsoft, Square, so a couple of different other stocks that ended up moving to the upside rather well. So. Um, Again, make sure you guys do not clog up the chat. Leave your requests, but just that's just for everybody else's sake as well. So no, you guys don't have to repeat it. I'm going to go in chronological order to the downside. So we're going to start tonight off with UAVS, and then game SHMP, Facebook, Neo, and so we're going to go ahead and start with those. Um, so we're going to go ahead and clean up the chart. Move over here. So far, so good on SPY. All right. So going over the news really briefly. Today, every single index except for the Dow ended up in the green. So the S&P was up 0.34%, Nasdaq up 0.84%, the Russell up 0.10%, the Dow down 0.10%. Bros, BROS, ripped 8.15%. Affirm moved to a new high today. We guys, I know a couple of you guys saw that breakout. I wasn't able to get in with that at the same fill as everybody else, but this one did end up running to the upside with some strength. It does look like on the hourly time frame it could see continuation to the upside. We also have Tuesday, tomorrow, the first ever Bitcoin futures ETF. ProShares ETF will trade Bitcoin future contracts rather than owning actual cryptocurrency. So, um, we did have the Apple event. To be honest with you guys, there's plenty of articles and videos out there that are going to do a way better job of covering the actual Apple products and stuff like that. I'm not that guy. I obviously trade Apple a lot. It's one of my favorite stocks to trade, but I'm not that kind of Apple guru. But anyway, so other than that, oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah, no problem. I can do that. Other than that, guys, I just wanted to keep that relatively brief. Today, we caught. I'm just going to give you guys a quick recap. So last week, Thursday, we signaled, or we took Macy's to the upside, looking at filling this daily gap, and that was that was the reason for taking this trade. The gap started at 24, closed at 24.75. That gap absolutely ripped through today. I actually ended up looking at a $26 rejection. And it's really funny. If we go down here to the 5 minute, you see that the first rejection happens right there at 26.50. So a few cents, a little bit higher. I actually took out a small $26 put, ended up getting out of it, and then it ended up running even further to the upside. So a lot of people got out of the trade for well over 400 to 500%. So that was a good trade as well. Microsoft still on the watch list going into tomorrow. This one we had the break above 305, ending the day with a nice bull flag. We also took Square to the upside. This one a little bit tougher. I still have that price target to the upside for the gap fill. That gap starting at 250, 275 and closing at 255. So still looking to take Square up to that downtrend as well. So tomorrow I will go over my watch list more in depth tomorrow morning. So I want to obviously one of the reasons why is because we're going to be playing short-term plays, and because they're short-term, things can change overnight. So let's see here. We did have Baba, which was a not winning trade. This one ended up sitting flat today. We thought we might get a breakout to the upside, moved really well. It actually did end up running to not necessarily my target, but pretty close to, and then pulling back, staying pretty much choppy. So, alrighty. So other than that, I've learned so much from the Discord group. Thank you for creating it, Larry. That's awesome to hear, man. I really appreciate that. Alrighty. Sudden live feed going. Oh. Mike Ron, yeah, for sure. So I got all these written down. Thank you guys for not clogging up the chat. And did you follow through with your Macy's? Yeah, I did. Did anybody on here who is not in the Discord trade Macy's and end up green on that? Flip my screen. Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry. Let me flip my screen. Again, link in the bio if you guys are trying to get onto the YouTube. Alrighty. So what are we looking at? Let's see here. So the first request is UABS. So I already have this one charted. As per usual. So the thing about wedges, they can always extend themselves. So there's always the possibility that you see this make, a really jagged move to the upside where you could extend the wedge. But right now you are really, really tightly contained. So honestly, when the chart sets up like this, it's oftentimes that news is going to be the type of uh, catalyst that'll get it out of this price consolidation here. There's no volume, and you're just sitting relatively flat over here in this previous demand zone. So for UVS, it does have a reversal pattern, but of course, the reversal will depend, and the strength of that reversal all depends on the news or whatever catalyst that you're looking at there. So that's UVAS, so I already have that one charted. GameStop, of course, is already charted as well. If you guys have any requests, link in the bio. So GameStop, still stuck in the pennant. Pretty much, my analysis for GameStop and AMC has pretty much been the same. Now for GameStop here, you're sitting, the whole ribbon indicator is moving to the upside, or crossed underneath us. Looks like momentum is obviously shifting to the upside. AMC, I know some of you guys may have swung the AMC call. AMC actually almost filled this gap on the daily to 44.40 or 44.15, just a few cents shy. But this one also, you can see the pennant or the little tiny wedge down at the bottom. So you see that price consolidation and then that pop and reversal there. And if you go and look at GameStop, you almost have an identical setup here on GameStop. And of course, if GameStop runs, so do most of all the other meme stocks. But here, the strength is not nearly as significant to the upside as it is obviously as AMC. But got it. Oh wow, DKNG top rectangle reversal pattern. Yeah, and I mean you could even look at that as that's a really good chart, Kenneth. Again, if you guys are in the Discord, you can leave requests there as well. All right, and I'm going to be working my way down. Of course, guys, I'm only human, so I may not be able to get to everybody. There are going to be nights, of course. Tomorrow night we will be only in the Discord doing chart requests. But as of tonight, I'll get to what I can get to. And of course, you guys in the Discord can drop your request inside of the Discord, and I will prioritize those as well as the Patreon members as well. So, okay, so downtrend there. Honestly, watch today's high above 190. You don't have too much room to breathe here off of what I'm looking at as a resistance above you. The resistance is $200. So GameStop is, and honestly, it's probably worth looking at the chain to see. I know somebody posted something in the Discord showing that the chain GameStop calls and AMC calls had high IO way outside of the money going long. So Honestly, looking at the volume, if I was to like look at this just as a regular stock, I would say that there's really not much to move it in either direction. So we all know that if the market was to unravel or pull back, which honestly, guys, now that investor confidence is back, I feel a little bit uneasy, still moving to the upside here, not quite comfortable, but if anything did, honestly, that's probably what I'm waiting for the most. If SPY starts to tumble, then you may see, GameStop move to the upside. We've seen that type of movement there. So, all right. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining on the YouTube. What's up, everybody here on the TikTok? So, one second. Discord chat. Oh, let me do that really quick. Hold on one second. One second, guys. Sorry, I gotta do this really quick for my guy. All right, there you go. I just got your key, and I tagged you on live trading chat. So there you go. Sorry about that, dude. Yes. Yep. Um, up a total of $735 for the day. That's awesome. Thinking of getting into QQQ. All right, I'm reading all your messages here. Andrew Flores, are you still on? Are you still on Robinhood? Okay, so anyway, that's GameStop. There's not really much here to add. I mean, you could go down here to the lower time frame. And in doing that, honestly, I always am weary of setups like this, where you could end up building some type of rising wedge. So, maybe watch GameStop somewhere around 192. If you reject there, maybe this wedge holds true. So, but again, low volume, needs some type of catalyst at this moment. All right, moving back up. Next request here on the YouTube is SHMP, Natural Shrimp Incorporated. Is this real? I can't say I've ever charted this. Oh my God. I'm charting shrimp. I am alive. This is what it feels like to be a human. Wow. Okay, so you you have a you have a reversal pattern on shrimp. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you, Tigger. So a nice reversal pattern here on shrimp, on the daily at least. It looks like you kind of sat flat for a minute, retested that same little supply there at 32 cents. Momentum, all your momentum indicators and volume are showing continued upside. You ended the day with a really bullish candle. I think tomorrow's obviously going to be really pivotal as well. Close the end of the day, the post market green as well. So, with any, I don't know what the catalyst is. That's probably going to have everything to do with everything. You do see how it moves after extended pumps a lot of the times, and you could go back and back test this. We'll go see. We'll test it. It's not guaranteed to work, but we'll test this theory. Okay, so I'm going to use a price range. I'm going to use this mark here, and I'm going to go ahead and line that up. So it looks like a little 81% move. Now let's go. That is a little tall, I guess. All right, so let's line that up there. Again, not guaranteed to work. All right, so that's right around where we're at now. All right, well, I could see that working as well. So that seems like a decent bounce. bounce there. Obviously, this has some type of catalyst. So I think obviously from this point, um, volume uh, to the upside. I honestly see this thing, and it's weird to look at, but it looks like 50 cents is a major level. You can see that level right here. So mark this horizontal ray. Check that out. So see where you bounce off of this level. That's going to be that 50-cent mark. So over 50 cents, good volume, good catalyst. You could see solid continuation to the upside. No problem, Malware. So next one is Facebook. Can't say I've ever charged you something like that. So Facebook, good break and downtrend here. We talked about this one this morning. Also, Justin is back. He actually signaled this one as well to the upside. Nice mover for sure. So you can see right here, no matter how you slice and dice it, Facebook had a nice breaking downtrend here. If you go look at the daily, you'll also see with the standard deviation channel that we use, that we have, oh man, this is actually really cool. So the whole ribbon indicator here, right? Bright red, we have crossed above it. And I know you guys have heard me talk about that is what I need to see oftentimes from a stock when I'm looking at this ribbon indicator. Here you can see a lack of momentum, but once you cross above that whole ribbon indicator with decent volume, usually you see a good move to the upside, and then you can read that upside move from the length or width of this ribbon. But all that being said, if you look at Facebook right now, really nice bounce, and you're still in this zone. So there is still a possibility that you stay here. Facebook earnings, if I'm not mistaken, right? Now this has everything to do with everything. So Netflix on Tuesday, Tesla on Wednesday, next week, Facebook on Monday. So in between now and then, right? It's gonna be honestly, at this point, it's probably you could look at your pivot points. You could just mark these simple levels. So right here, obvious level here at 338 on Facebook. So that would be the most obvious level. You can see the bounces that occur here. And that's usually what we look for as we're looking for targets. We're looking for areas of rejection, areas of where a stock bounces, where a stock rejects. Oftentimes that would be the levels or supports and resistances above you. So that being said, next level above you, looking at it, I would say, and that's a good psychological mark as well, is 350. You do have gaps sitting at this level, but in between now and then, that's kind of the range that I would look for Facebook to stay in. So good continuation from the Qs. All indicators do point to the upside. Decent volume spike as well. TTM is moving over. RSI is bouncing up from oversold. So all looks well. Of course, the FUD underneath has a lot to do with it. But okay, so Neo. All right, so I already marked this one out before, and this is a shorter time frame. It took me a minute to kind of settle on this setup here. So with Neo, it does appear that it did break out of a falling wedge. It finished the day above the 200-day EMA. You can see how pivotal, look back here, how pivotal of a moving average this tends to be. You can see the bounces going across the board, marking those out right here. It's not going to make me do that. So you get the picture. Lots of respectable moves here. You do dip underneath this. So whole ribbon indicator, right? Volume is not great. That is always something to keep in mind. At this moment, I think that we're going to go move on technicals. The mark that you're looking for is 40-40. That is where Neo fills the gap. Past that, the most obvious resistance I see is $42. That's where you kind of want to take it step by step. We know this is the Chinese company, so is likely to be affected by that type of FUD. That is obviously we're running into the meeting with Biden and the Chinese president that may absolve some of those issues. But BA was next. All on the YouTube if you guys have any questions. Okay, so let me go reshare this on Twitter. All right, so BA guys, this is one that it's tough because at this point I'm just leaving it alone. Um, and one of the reasons being is it's the price action. We talked about this crazy chop that you see from BA. You think you're going to see good solid continuation to the upside, at a mark like this, and you see a deadpan reversal. It is continuous red after that. So BA, in my opinion, it does this is where you have to look at the lower time frame. It does show a breaking downtrend here. So you see that nice clean breaking downtrend. You are bouncing off of my support that I have marked out here. This is obviously speculative. At this point, I like to use my EMAs, or those usually are going to line up anyway with my previous support. So if you go back here and look at this level on BA, that's 218. You can see that's lining up perfectly with my EMA, my 50 EMA right here, right? So above that 50 EMA, the first next logical level is this right here, right? So that next support bounce. Now at that point, you're going to either A, break to the upside, make that to move to 220, and that's really where things start to get a little bit more dicey. But the price action on Boeing right now is just awful, scandalous. So honestly, earnings is coming up, and it may just trade just like this until then. So um, hey, I got the sunglasses. Don't send me sunglasses. Don't do that. It's too awesome. What's my interest? That's funny. Side up. All right. 91 votes. So 81% of people today ended in the green. That's pretty cool. Make sure to hit that little voting booth above us. That's pretty good. That's a good percentage, man. I'm thinking about getting into the queues. Can you check back on BA Weekly? Sure. So I mean, I don't know if you're referencing this downtrend. If you're looking at this, right? So you do have that weekly downtrend, but the downtrend that you're currently dealing with is this one, right? So you're fighting in this at this moment, right? The way that I see it, you could be establishing a new trend to the downside, and the whole ribbon indicator is red. Everything is flat. Volume is gone. So, I mean, there's not a lot of good setups here. So, I always resist Yetis. Too late for SC. Pretty sure he uses TradeStation to trade on his PC. Yeah. How do you know if it'll keep going up? I would think that it's chasing. What are you talking about? What do you use trade on PC? Okay. Can me how to those moving averages on TradingView? Andrew, I don't know, but I like the way you worded that. I just joking, man. Um, guys, link in the bio right there. Yeah, I'm talking to people on the YouTube channel. The link is in my bio. All right. What time does your day start, and when do you execute trades? Usually 9:30, but my day starts way earlier than that. Usually in pre-market I'm playing stuff. So Um, all right. Sorry, I wanted to read these. I'm checking for the messages. So sorry, I'm reading these. Okay. DML. So I think this would qualify as a double bottom off of the $1.70 mark. This is also, I don't know what this company is, but this is also a level that you've seen a lot of bounces off. So see that 1, 2, 3, 4, get a lot of resistance here. So oftentimes, every time you break a level, doesn't matter what the time frame is. Oftentimes you can see a retest. That's what you get there. Retest, double bottom, and big volume stepping up here on DNN. So you can look for, and oftentimes it's healthy to go back and look at how liberally a stock will move through its overbought or oversold. And with this stock, it does look like that it can comfortably move into that overbought before seeing a major pullback. So you're not quite into the overbought. You are approaching earnings here. It looks like on November 4th. So I mean, seeing another leg up here, around and when you can, um there's multiple there's multiple different ways to find targets. Not all the time are they as consistent as we'd like them to be. Sometimes you can do one of these numbers. Some people run them off the bodies, some people just run them off the wicks, and oftentimes they'll go and run them there. I like to kind of run them off of the bodies to give me a good price range and then line them up. So from here, from the breakout, right, that's exactly where we're at, literally on the dot. And so we get pulled back down. You can see right here, the body of this candle closes at the previous spike and our high here at 230. So hopefully, if you see the same movement that you saw before, you could see the 250, 275 level to the upside on DML. Is SPY still bullish? As far as I can see, yes. So you do get this crazy candle here, pretty much filling almost 50% of the gap underneath you. Not really satisfying for me, but you can see right here one of my favorite setups occurring, the 9-day moving average crossing over the 50, crossing over the 20. So these pinched up EMAs oftentimes will signify a major move to the upside. So it's not outside of the question to see 456 on SPY, and obviously news with getting the bill passed with Biden can cause a lot of volatility with this, but earnings season is coming up. So, and yeah, bipartisan anti-U.S. trust bill will be discussed this Wednesday for Facebook videos on interesting. So yeah, right now on SPY we finished really close to my target of 240 or 448.50. So above 44.50. The first target I have really is 450, which is a big psychological number for SPY. So how's it going, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys are coming from YouTube. So still holding 106 votes here on on our YouTube poll. That's pretty good. 82% of the people here ended with a green day. So somebody's asked me, Benzinga Pro is what I use as a scanner. So the YouTube channel, the link is in the bio. Link is in my bio, link tree. That's where the YouTube channel is right now. Okay, so anyway, for SPY, everything really looks, I mean, you are moving up on declining volume today. You executed the first moving average crossover, the histogram on the MACD. So you could see continuation. The TTM's rolling over, RSI is moving to the upside, but not a ton of conviction when you have something running on low volume. So that's something to keep in the back of your head. Another thing to keep in the back of your head is that the economic calendar, we do have housing and building permits that comes in tomorrow as well. So that is relatively high impact data. But anyway, yeah, SPY's looking still bullish for now, just low volume. Oh, weird. I'm having technical difficulties here. All right. Sorry. Why is this 826? Hold on one second. Why is this gone? My chat is freaking out right now. I can't see your guys' request. Okay, there we go. Sorry. All right, perfect. All right, we're good. We're back in the game. All right, so Microsoft is next. Okay. So Microsoft, end of the day, relatively well, had it inside of this little channel. The 9-day moving average on the hourly, that is Microsoft's best friend. So that's kind of what I'm going to be watching here. Of course, the Qs are going to be a big deal as well. Always following their major ETFs. I do see that we are a bit overbought. So I am allowing Microsoft a retest of 306 or the whole ribbon indicator bounce. And a lot of the times when you'll see this flat, and this is obviously from, um, um, you can turn it off, but it's for extended hours. You know, the ribbon's going to trade flat. So you can always go and into your settings when you're using this and click that off. Let's see, extended hours. Always forget. There you go. So as you can see, a lot of the times you'll go and retest that ribbon. That's what I'm going to be looking for here. So I want to see a good bounce or breakout of this flag on Microsoft. So so far so good. And then if you're using the daily standard deviation, right? So this is a standard deviation channel that Microsoft has pretty much held strong. Using that standard deviation channel, pulling this up, if we do continue to the upside, right? I have a price target right around 320, and it could even run into the 325 level. So that's Microsoft. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so Microsoft looking pretty good. SDC. All right, so I still have SDC charted from before. Trying to move along here. Sorry, guys. Thank you guys for your patience as always. So I think I talked about this before about SDC. It broke a lower time frame support. Right now, I'm not sure what's going on. You got two double rejections. So you saw twice now they've tried to push this thing to the upside. This one was on a little bit of a gap fill, and then you ended up going and retesting this previous 750 mark or that downtrend again. So, in my opinion, looking at SDC, you could either look for a bounce around 515 and that would potentially move you to the upside. But the overall setup that I see right now is a triple top on the daily. So it does look like STC could, at a minimum, move to the $5 mark or even as low as 460. And if you use this channel, then going even maybe lower than that. So now, of course, I don't know, the climate earnings could change everything. Again, that's November 16th. So um, okay, so Maller, you're talking about I already did. Wait, I did Facebook already. Yeah, so I already did Facebook. Maller, Malhar. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. But I can take a look here at Amazon. Okay, so actually talked about this one yesterday. Amazon breaking downtrend, looking for the gap fill. Gap was filled. Honestly, at this point, you could see the start of a flag before your next leg up because the next target above you is 3,500. That is a major target above you. 34.95 is another target. If you go down the hourly time frame, you can see that there's almost like just a fraction of a gap here at 34.54 that could get filled. But again, above that, you have that 349.50 mark that I'd be looking for. Good break in downtrend, nice inverse head and shoulders. Gap has been filled. So really the top right here, 3,500 is where I would like to see this one before continuing to the upside where you also have a gap to fill. The finishing part of the gap on the hourly starting at 35.50 and closing at 35.85. mRNA. So we had some good comeback stories on mRNA. We had a couple people who were down from mRNA. Now, perfect rounded bottom, obviously. Nice bounce off of this previous mark. I think we were looking at it this weekend. We were looking for this bounce right around this level. I think I had 315. But regardless, you get that base drop rally. And I've shown on people what that looks like before. You end up reversing here. Obviously, this mark of 338, 340 is where you're going to be looking to take this one potentially to the upside. Now, Moderna on the hourly has a gap to fill starting at 360 and closing at 385. So there's a huge gap to the upside, but oftentimes it's going to be news that will give you the catalyst to move into that upside. But overall, you could just see chop in the meantime. So, um, oof, I'm a little tired. Um, so, Crocs, the next one. Um, wow. This thing is moving. Oh, excuse me. All right, nice strong support. Nice EMA crossover here. 9-day moving average EMA crossover. Um, man, I don't see any reason why this thing should stop. Right now the target above you is going to be 147 easy. For Crocs, even a simple retest of 148.35. If you mark that out, you can see that level here, and also the top of this zone right here and here. So that's what I calculate being the target to the upside. Um, okay. Um, okay, so MU, the next one. Another something else to add on Crocs, the EMA crossover here is actually something to take note of. So I obviously about 145 is the nearest target for you, but I think ultimately 145 or 147.50. But it looks good for a continuation here. You may see a little pullback. I think that would be healthy. You can see on the RSI it is overbought. So seeing a little pullback into support wouldn't be the worst thing if you'd like to see continuation to the upside. Um, Yeah, so all is well on Crocs. Nice and comfy. Anyway, MU. So I already have MU charted, same channel as before. Right now, you're showing a little bit of weakness at this support that you're currently standing on. That support is the 66, looks like 66.75, 65.70. Um, Either A, you bounce off of this level, or and really you're showing a lot of weakness here, not strength, or you fall down to the bottom right here, and that's going to be at 64.50, and that's if you pull this little channel down to the downside. You can see how that kind of lines up as a potential support to the downside. So it does look like it's still holding that downtrend. It did have earnings, so hopefully you see a bounce there and some type of turnaround. But any type of reversal is going to occur for Micron above, I would say 73, somewhere right around this area. So just look for a test of downtrend if that occurs. But at this point, I'd say I would bank on potentially another leg down. So not bank on, but it looks to the downside. I think my coffee just stopped working. Um, all right, so Upstart guys losing a little bit of juice today was just a perfect gap fill. I think you guys or actually, excuse me. Oh no. Hold on one second. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, so perfect gap fill there on Upstart. See the gap down, and then a nice push to the upside there. Leaving the gap filled and testing your downtrend. So let me fix that for you guys. So as you can see, there's your downtrend. You fill the gap. There is a possibility that you go and flag here, but obviously at a break, the break of downtrend, it will happen at 340, and then climbing above this whole ribbon indicator here on the hourly is going to occur around $400 mark. As far as the daily is concerned, I think that you either A, hold this range for the time being, especially seeing this move to the upside. Um, um, so this guy, Maha Barnusen, um, you guys should tell him about our Macy's play. Um, I don't know this dude's name, but you guys can just like there's so many other streams you guys can be in. Why? Like I don't give a shit about what you guys say. Um, so just a simple scroll of your finger and you're out of here. So if you don't if it doesn't work for you, then why are you here watching me? It doesn't make any sense. Let's see. There you go. Sorry, I'm just reversing the camera for you. All right. So anyway, Upstart. I'm looking at the indicators right now, the rising volume. It looks like it could see some continuation here, but the bottom line is I'd like to see it get above 390. Above 390, we can start making magic and look at a break of our wick fill here on the daily. So that's going to be the main target at the moment. But you could, seeing how far these indicators or these moving averages are, it could be a matter of just consolidating in this area before you make your next move. So, but really strong candle to fill that gap. So we'll see if we see continuation. Um, Neo, again, Neo has a falling wedge here on the daily. That is a simple reversal pattern. We've been talking about this for weeks, and today you got that push. I said that I wanted to see it above 38.75, and then now I would say a reasonable target for everybody is 40.50. let a daily candle close above that, and we can start talking about further upside. But in the meantime, that is a gap on the daily that looks like it needs to be filled immediately. So I feel like I already did the um all right. Did I skip that one? So I think we talked about this one last night. It didn't end up rejecting and instead ended up holding up, right? Kind of move. Actually, let me get rid of my hold bit indicator. So rather than moving to the upside, I don't like this setup a lot. Let me just do this. So BBIG almost in a way kind of double topped. So you see this like flat rejection here, but if you're using the wicks, right, this one does make a higher high. So there is this probability that you're now building a little triangle. So right here, that's all I can speculate at this moment is that you're making a bullish pennant or a bullish symmetrical triangle to the upside. So wait for a reversal candle above 840 and watch this one to potentially run to 885. That's when you're going to want to see whether or not it can go and fill its gap. It does have a gap to fill at 940, starting at 940 and closing at 950. So it's probably going to go to the upside and fill that gap at some point, and you're just consolidating in the meantime. So the setup isn't terrible on BBIG. Sorry if I seem a little sluggish, guys. I'm kind of really tired. Micron. Yeah. Did I do this one already? Yeah, I did that one. I did Upstart. Here we go. Whoa, Holton, dude, holy shit, man! Thank you. I don't even I don't even know what to say, man. That's fucking. Thanks for the tip, dude. That's really awesome, dude. I'll put that in my son Ao's long term account, man. We'll double that up, dude. Thank you, man. That's lit. I don't even know what to say. I'm flabbergasted. Um. So anyway, of course, yeah. Uh. Thanks. Yeah, they have a crypt ideal. So I just want to take a break and explain something. This is the purpose of technical analysis, right? A lot of times things will consolidate because they don't have a catalyst, but buyers are still bullish. So you make a pattern that is a consolidation pattern, bullish pattern, and then you end up seeing the next catalyst or the next wave of buyers. And this often can be from an extended trend or one single catalyst where you see several waves of said movement from one, or obviously you can see just the catalyst type movement. Um, so oftentimes when I see something like this, I start to see a potential reversal. This is really illiquid. It could just be that this thing is trading in a channel. Let me see. So at the moment, above this wick fill, this can't be right. Is this right? Am I in the this? Oh, it's got to be OTC. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, I can't. I unfortunately cannot chart this. Um, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that if I bought enough of this stock, I would show up on the daily candle. There is no liquidity in this. So if you ever see a stock like this, um, obviously you want to know why the hell they're trading that way. But really anything that you chart is gonna almost end up being forced. I don't know what their company does. That's probably more important. Maybe this is a reversal. That's the only thing that I can see. My pattern recognition skills are picking up here. But that's all I got for you on that one. So wild looking stock. So um yeah, Kenneth, that's so dope, dude. Thanks for screenshotting that. I just did the same thing. All right, so let's keep it moving here, guys. It is 9 o'clock and we're making our way. You guys know what I was about to do. I'm not gonna do it though. We're making our way down this chart. All right. So I should start deleting the ones that I've already done. All right, so fuel cell. All right, so we talked about fuel cell here extensively. We're getting close. All right. I know that we have the pumpers, right, that are looking at taking fuel cell so far. Good day. I know a lot of you guys ended up green. There's a gap to fill at 1073 all the way to 1125. That's where fuel cells gap fill. It has a rounded bottom here on the daily. If you go to the hourly, you can see that we get a nice, strong, clean break today above that high, riding the 9-day moving average. So as we consolidate here at this level, depends on how we open. If we gap down, listen, if we gap down, that's bullish. If we gap up, it will pull back. All right. And you will get caught. So wait for weeklies if we gap up. Wait for that gap to get filled. So just throwing that out there. That's not investment advice. That's just a recommendation. All right. So fuel cell, Baidu. Making my way, guys. I hate the PDT rule. I understand. PB, I did that one. Okay. All right. So Baidu. Mm, it's crazy. I remember what the stock used to be. So seeing through the noise. That's what I'm doing right here. I'm not forcing this. I'm looking to see if I'm right. I went to the 4 hour to see if there was any type of respectable trend, and there is. I see multiple and a nice clean angle off that top. All right, so this one has another reversal pattern. It's up against that major mark right there. It seems only logical at this point that we could see 178 and 180 on Baidu. Um, yeah, that's what I would say here. Let me look at something really quick before I get too ahead of myself. Okay. So there is this little deviation channel here, and this is probably important to look at. And I do see that it's a very respectable little deviation channel as well, in my opinion. Right? I think that if you do get above the 171 mark, that 180 is inevitable, but above 180, I don't think that we get there without the help of some clearing up of China, period. So be on your toes because this thing, just as easily as it gaps up like it does here, will gap down. And you can see that consistently, if it gaps up, oftentimes it will can set up as very bearish. So just be careful on this one. Wow, it didn't even fill all of its gap. So definitely scammy price action here. Not a lot of liquidity, or not a lot of volume here to give it those nice moves to the upside. So Vaidu is still struggling there, for sure. So um, Jamie TIL. Um, if you guys want to, you can hop in the if I don't know if there's any moderators here for TikTok, but if you guys have a moment to help people on the TikTok, the link is in my bio. That's where you guys can interact with me. I am no longer going to be taking requests in like pretty much the next 4 minutes. So if you guys have any requests, feel free to go and a lot of these that chart dude Netflix is about to get done here in a couple minutes. It's on the list. So go check the list above you. And if you see it there, then for sure you can check it out. All right. I can't, there's nothing here for me to chart. Just keeping it straight up. I mean, I would say you have a bear flag-ish type setup there. This is your trend. But I mean, unless I stretch out a megaphone, but that doesn't feel right. So maybe you're making a megaphone here. So if you are, then watch for a major bounce here and a rip to fucking, excuse me, to $25 possibly, depending on the length and the distance of which that moves. If it is a megaphone pattern, which you don't know until this next wave, but that's what I would suspect there. But obviously anywhere below this mark where you see the wick, to the downside, anywhere below, I mean, honestly, anywhere below 1650, you have a level below you at 1545. So weird price action there. I don't want to force anything though. Um, all right, Bank of America. So Bank of America ended the day with, ooh. So that oftentimes right here, guys, that can be a reversal candle. Now it is a doji, so it obviously is, it's more bearish than anything. You just have a major drop in volume here, and that also happens when the chart is screaming overbought. So if you look on the daily, it does look like you're going to pull back. If you look on the hourly, you could probably find that, yeah. So you do in fact have a gap beneath you. I think that it's highly probable, and you can watch the 9-day moving average here for Bank of America. But I do think that it's highly probable to go and retest the zone underneath you at 44.85. So watch for that little retest before making another move to the upside. So it's too early to tell, but it does look like you may end up flagging out here. So um, okay, so resources, nice. Feels so gush. Oh, so if you go look at the price action here and here and here and look at this, it sure does look pretty similar. That being said, this is your support, right? This is your resistance. So at the moment, this is where you likely are going to continue to consolidate. Now, obviously, you have 107, but the mark is going to be 115 and honestly 116, the break above 116, and you should see some solid continuation there. Um, how do I know if I'm chasing or if the trend ended already? Living dream, honestly, your question was thinking of getting into the QQQs to the upside tomorrow. How do I know if I'm chasing or if the trend ended already? Unfortunately, some of the main indicators for that volume, those unfortunately are not key indicators right now because volume hasn't been the main thing. We've been moving to the upside with lower volume. Now, the high volume came here, right? That's when the whales buy the dip. So that's when you can see that the volume spikes the highest. So at this point, seeing a pullback or rejection at these highs is not outside of the question. Also, we're running into earnings season, so we may just end up running on low volume again, and we've seen it before. So if you see right here, this whole run was done on low volume. This whole run was done on low volume, and the low volume happens down here on the dips. So as far as I see it, anywhere above 374 and using the deviation channel, the standard deviation channel that we talk about, right? Okay. Now from here, I take the auto-generated one and I'll go ahead and correct it because oftentimes it's going to be, oosh, I just doubled up on it. Okay, so, okay. So looking at the cues and where they are at on the chart, above this linear deviation, the middle line, right? Bounce, bounce, rejection, flush, bounce, flush, breakout, bounce, 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 bounce. Do we need any more signs? It's obviously very well respected. So that's the target. That's the target. 375.50. 375.50 on the cues. So um what about the QQQQ? There you go. The Qs are, the four Qs. I know you're gonna have to subtract one. Thank you guys. If you guys are liking the stream here on TikTok or on YouTube, if you guys don't mind leaving a like, I do appreciate it. If you guys did like the stream or do like the stream, you want to retweet it on Twitter or throw it out that way, it is much appreciated here. So, also it's worth mentioning that the Qs are getting close to being overbought. So I think we're getting close to a pullback, guys. Close. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. So yeah, that's a pretty big one. All right. Yeah, I'm not doing that. All right. Um, so as far as UU is concerned, I'm bullish on it. I'm aiming quite simply for the target of $12.50. The volume here is insanity. It's absolute insanity. And in retrospect, it's some of the highest volume that we've ever seen. So in my opinion, obviously as energy can becomes a main concern, energy consumption, that is one of the main ways that I see. Um, yeah, we could do that. One of the ways that I can see now, we're obviously at that spot where we could double top here, but we did end the candle relatively bullishly. So I do think that we could see another leg up into the $9 mark. But at the moment, the danger is the double top. So right there, just need to get past that previous high, right? So, whoa. Roxana, 160%. That makes me really, really happy. All right, I'm moving all right along here. Thank you guys. Again, you guys can hop in the YouTube. The link is in the YouTube. So where do you execute on these streams? Over here. Where did you get your setup at? Bought all over the place. All right. I don't know. My Twitter user is PotterStocks. Sorry guys. So do you teach your charting? Yeah, I do. What's up, Jose? Sorry, I'm looking at the next charts here. Yeah, I know I do not trade Colton. I'm not. I know how I chart, but I don't trade SPY. Derek Weiss. Thanks, ATL Sugar. I appreciate that. Um, sorry guys, I'm trying to make my way down the list. I got $10 for shit. I got 20 bucks for somebody just to write down the next charting tickers. All right. So let's see. Okay. Okay, sorry. It's hard for me to navigate the chat sometimes. There's a lot of messages in there. In the future, guys, due to the request and all of the requests, I have to ask you guys to just be careful on flooding the chat too much. It does make it a little bit hard for me to navigate um the requests. So if there wasn't so many requests, I obviously it wouldn't be a big deal. But okay, so for CRISPR, obviously this is a range that we have held before. There's a couple different levels, obviously, here above you. That's one right there, 107, 108. That's a mark that you can bank on potentially. Let me actually pull that up. So I'm actually going to move that to 109.75 for CRISPR. So looking at the fact that you are at support, either A, you are oversold, you do have not much momentum to the downside. If you do pull up the whole ribbon indicator, you can see you are moving to the downside, or you're getting relatively close. So at this point in time, for CRISPR, if it does end up breaking this level here at 95.65, the next level below it is $85. And that would be the bottom of the supply or demand zone below you. So so that's kind of what I'm looking at CRISPR there. All right, so Netflix, guys, Netflix has earnings in a couple of days. Your boy swung some crazy calls. I don't know if anybody in here swung Netflix calls, but I did. I don't know what's wrong with me. I didn't go too crazy in them, but it's the day of earnings, so I'm swinging into earnings, not the earnings day, but the day before earning or the day of earnings. So it's obviously an aftermarket. But Big Stepper. No, I have not. Oh, that's dope, Kenneth. That would definitely help me out. I totally would appreciate that. Obviously, you don't have to do it tonight, but yeah, for sure. You're on Netflix with me? All right. Well, here's the rationale on Netflix. Whole ribbon indicator flip, the break and downtrend from here, this high to this high, making a higher high here. I'm looking for this one to absolutely fucking send it and possibly move up into the 650s. 660 is the price target that I have. So you heard it here. 660 is the price target that I'm looking at for Netflix. Now, given the contracts, if it does run and it hits anywhere near that, I'm out. I'm sorry, I'm not going in through earnings. If we run up and just hit a high of like 650, 645, then at that point that's fine. I may end up leaving one, depending on obviously the contract worth for it. Um or end up setting up a straddle. So this is the channel that we're trading in currently. It's what I'm watching, obviously, Netflix to break out up to the upside here. So, um, thank you guys for all of the tips. I do appreciate that. Um, PROG. Um, I think this is the third cycle now for PROG. It's at almost at $3. I can't. I mean, literally, I can't say anything else about it. It just is moving up to that. It got a price target raise. I think I said the whole EMA. So the EMA is at 332. My price target still stands at 332. And again, every time it makes a leg up, it needs incredible volume to do so. You are getting close to overbought, so the run can be getting close to being over again at that rejection. So, um, oh no, it's all good. All right. Um, all right. Tesla seems like it would knock out a lot of people, so we'll go ahead and do Tesla. Honestly, I I mean Tesla still has gaps to fill underneath it, all the way at 200, 257. The way that I see it, guys, not much of what I say is going to have shit. It's all about earnings. My technical analysis is only just a way to find entries and exits with this at this point. And looking at it, I went ahead and gave you guys the target of 885 this Sunday. That's the only place that I can see. Then you of course have 900 above that, but it's making its way and it's doing it on relatively low volume. So all that being said, uh, we left a major gap below us. Anyway, if Tesla gets anywhere near that gap, it's going to immediately be a short target. So watch that gap potentially, but you could run up to all-time highs, and then of course earnings is going to hit. It does look like you do need a good healthy pullback on the hourly, but otherwise this thing is just ripping and roaring. So yeah. Um, the next one is, did I do Netflix? Yeah, I did Netflix. SPWR. So SPWR is a pain in the ass right now, as far as price action and everything is concerned. Today, this candle, the way that we ended, not super bullish. Um, the way that we pulled back wasn't the worst. You can see right here, this level, right? So, oops, sorry. So this level here, is going to be $27. Below $27, 26.50. Unfortunately, SPWR is going to move to the downside. Um, and so what I'm waiting for right now is this breaking downtrend right here from this high here. So hopefully we get a good bounce and right above 27 or 28.24. So today's high is where I'm going to be trying to take SPWR, but failed breakout here today. So let's see. All right. So I actually have fiber written down here. I think they had news. So quite simply here on Fiverr. So go to the hourly. So on the hourly, there's a gap to fill. That fill is going to happen at 197. Then you have another gap right above that at $201. That gap closes at 202. So it's a dollar gap both ways. So those could be potential targets above one looks like 196.81, so today's high. You can go to the daily and see, let's see here real quick. So you do have the whole ribbon indicator above you, or below you, excuse me. And it looks like that 200-day EMA is just kind of a nuisance on every single time frame. Let me go to the 15-minute here. Wow. All right, so there's the channel. Basically, watch that channel. If it breaks this part, if it breaks this yellow line, it's going to continue to go up. If it breaks this yellow line, it's going to continue to go down. All right. So almost 80% out of 168 people who have passed through the YouTube tonight, 79% ended green. That's pretty fucking high percentage, I'm not gonna lie. If you didn't end green, of course, it's a waste of time. Disney. Okay, so do you guys see this yellow mark or this red mark that I have on Disney right here? That was the target, 170, 150 today. It hit it on really, really high volume, incredible volume. Towards the last 15 minutes of the day, we had a major spike here in volume. But the overall outlook of Disney is that, and you can see the TTM starting to fire, is that it does need to it made a good bounce, right, off of that support and then retested the very same level that it broke. So that's going to be the level that you need to break into. Now you have a massive, massive gap starting at 173.35 and ending all the way at 176. So a huge gap. That's actually a gap that is worth looking at for a potential day trade. Now, if it bounces, right, that's a whole different story because at that point Disney could end up seeing a strong reversal and a run back into the 183 level. So all right. Thoughts on the Bitcoin ETF launching tomorrow? I think there's going to be a lot of volatility on it. Everybody knows about it, so you'll see some movement on it. All right. No, my strategy does not rely solely on charts. I'll request in the YouTube, but I'm not taking any more requests after the 9. I'm just gonna go ahead and call it at 9:20. Unfortunately, guys, I gotta, if I keep going, I'm gonna be up every night until 11 o'clock. So hopefully I'm trying to get like the mass majority of the more repetitive tickers. So if you got your ticker, throw a thumbs up in the chat. So um I'm watching Microsoft tomorrow. I am also watching Hood. I'll let you guys know about that one more tomorrow. So Hood, anybody in the Patreon, I may end up posting that one tonight in my Patreon. And then obviously before I go to bed in the Discord. But Hood actually has a relatively interesting setup. And now that they have added Shiba Inu, whatever it's called, you have to remember that a lot of their money was made off crypto transactions. So that could actually bring attention. I'm going to be watching them above 41.50 tomorrow, but I'll give you guys the full breakdown tomorrow after we see how we move on open. I will be up bright and early. I'm talking about bright and early tomorrow. I'm super pumped up, guys. So, hey, yo, Big Stepper, thank you. That's a great chart. So Kenneth, that I didn't get it. I just saw that chart and I just saw your question. Thank you, Big Stepper, gnarly dog. I thank you so much, dude. We gotta get a round of applause for Big Stepper, man. Silently out here goading every day. We're all ghosts, but this ain't no petting suit. All right. Sorry. All right. So I got Disney. That's the short term there. The daily setup, if you want to take a look at it, there it is. It's a pile of hot garbage, but there's still a gap below you. So ooh, below today, 169, 168. This thing may end up moving to the downside. So all right. Disney Visa Tesca. So I actually have Visa charted here based off of a standard deviation channel again, right? We're making a nice, well, I wouldn't even really call it nice, but a crazy type of accumulation pattern here above that 200 AMA. You see the whole ribbon indicator flipping green, but my gosh, it's sure taking a long time to pick up momentum. So this is exactly what I use this indicator for right now, guys. There is not a lot of momentum. There is a lot of selling pressure. And you can, this is opportunity, potentially to throw up the fixed volume range, to get an idea. You can see, look how much volume. Look at this level. So from this mark here of 235, right, all the way to the bottom that we have of 220, there's a lot of, I mean, it's 50-50, but ooh, so look right there, heavy selling pressure, right? So that's something to keep an eye on, is how much volume occurs inside of this level. My first target, you guys can see, is somewhere around the 240 mark, and that's going to likely happen above 233. So set your alerts. Alerts are going to be your best friend. You can go down to the hourly time frame, however you wish. I also would like you guys to know that a long time ago on TradingView. Thank you. You and or trade TOS, excuse me. You can add an alert. So check this out. Ready? So this is a cool little tidbit here. Whole ribbon indicator, right? M hole, right? So you can go here to your data window, go look at where the M hole, that's going to be higher. So it always sounds weird saying that. So M hole is going to be 224.88. And then the shoal, right? That's the bottom line. So these are composed of two EMAs, bottom and top. Now, if you guys want, you can add an alert that never goes off on, well, come here, on the actual ribbon, right? So you add it and you can either do shoal the crossover, but what you're looking for, right? Where's it at? So there it is. Now, if you do it like this, every time the whole indicator flips green, that'll give you an alert. And you can do that on any time frame. So just throwing that out there for you guys. Pretty neat little trick to make sure you stay up to date on your whole ribbon indicator. So, and you can even do that by highlighting it off. See, now the alert's still there. It's a sneaky alert. All right. Hopefully you guys can utilize that. That's a nice little trick that I used to use a lot. until my freaking TOS was like, "Wah, wah." I am long on NAOV, so thank you guys for leaving likes here. Do appreciate it. Um, are you talking about an inverted Head and Shoulders on Visa? All right. All right. Oh my God. Yo, Daniel, get out of here. Anyway, um, all right. Did I do PLTR? All right, so this one's pretty self-explanatory. PLTR, guys. I showed people this on. Do you guys remember when it got that news of the government contract and everyone thought it was going to go to the moon? Do you know where it rejected? The support term resistance. So at this moment in time, you've got a TTM squeeze, you've got the RSI moving over, um, you have low volume, so you don't have a lot of volume. You do have the MACD rolling or the whole ribbon indicator flipping to the upside. Now this is on the 4 hour time frame, and you also filled the gap below you. That gap closed at $23. So looking at PLTR, you got a lot to work through, and honestly, you need to get to $26 quickly. Otherwise, this plays out as a bear flag, and at a moment's notice, it probably is going to drop. Cool. Real quick, Daniel, let's look at Ethereum. I know it's not a stock, but we're going to look at it anyway. So at the moment, you are fighting Ethereum to not close as a double top. That being said, you are showing great resiliency right now rather than pulling back. You do have people are major dip buying, and you also have that whole ribbon indicator coming up and backing you up as well. So the goal is at this point in time to try to get and you can see here on the daily you're sitting right there on that 9-day moving average. And let's look at the hourly. So the hourly, you have this cute little pattern here. So that's pretty noisy. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Very obvious. So there you go. You have a little bit of a pennant fish, almost a bullish pennant here. So most of the time out of these, you're going to break to the upside. So just keep your eyes peeled around the 38.24, 38.25, and then anywhere below, honestly, anywhere below these wicks, you know, 3,700, you're probably going to see a little bit of a pullback. So um, save. Um, Next one. Whoa, what the fuck? Did I just delete all of my indicators? That's weird. Okay, so this one's taking me a minute here to figure out. Um, it'd be like that sometimes. Save below 23.40, closing a gap at $23. So that's 23.40 to basically it's actually 22.90 that gap closes. So you do have a gap to the downside. At that point, obviously 22.75 is the support that you're going to want to go ahead and bounce off of. If you go back here to the daily, you can see that basically $23 is that mark that we have bounced off of and broke out from. So that's the very same level that you're going to want to see a bounce. Otherwise, there's a good chance that this could continue to the downside. But again, earnings is going to be this end all say all for that. So um that's hot. I have a VR system that replaces your monitors. Okay, that's awesome. I like that. Gonna have it. Um yes, yeah, PLTR is good stuff. I watched that video today. Daniel, thank you. My family can sleep now. Um, oh my God. So, a brief rundown on my indicators here. I just saw something else. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. Okay, I see something on save. All right, so check out save. It might end up playing out that this thing ends up falling on a wedge. So my target here could be all the way at $20, but that's only if this wedge ends up playing out. So just something to keep an eye on here. That's speculative. Okay, so as far as indicators, I use VWAP. Of course, VWAP volume weighted average percentage is going to be, one of your key trend alerts. A lot of people use it a little bit differently. For me, I like to look for the VWAP crossover, 9-day moving average VWAP crossover for day trading on the hourly time frame. Often can work wonders with good volume. The HMA is for long-term trends. This is one that comes around kind of like Pluto, but when it does, it has a heavy impact. I use volume just like anybody else should to get an idea of the strength and the distance in which the move can make. 9-day moving average as my bullish or nearest bullish or bearish indicator, depending on where it is, underneath bearish, on top bullish. Pivot points are obviously auto-generated levels that I oftentimes will look at to see where we are at in the grand scheme of things, and where my supports and resistances often line up in comparison to pivots, which backs up some of my analysis. The whole ribbon indicator is a trend finding indicator that uses the whole, just like these, but just a different, you can actually change the formula on that one, but the HMA right there, or it does use that HMA. And then I use the EMAs, the orange one's the 200, the red one is the 50, the blue one is the 20. So the 200, or excuse me, 250 and 20, the moving averages that I use there. I also use a TTM squeeze here to kind of give me a momentum, an idea when a stock's starting to kind of coil up for its next impending move. RSI to get an idea if a stock's overbought or sold, and then MACD as well. So Silvergate Corporation. So okay, so this is where I can't, charting does nothing. You have to know, you just have to listen in and see what happens. If it drops, watch 147.37. If it breaks to the upside, I would just be aiming for the 178, possibly 180 level. Now I don't even know what they do. I've never traded them before, so when it comes to earnings, it's all about investor reaction, period. So yeah, I'm watching Bitcoin right now. It's curling up right now. Watch it. It needs to bounce reverse right here. and break above 62.50, or yeah, 62.5. All right. Would you say that it is better to wait for stocks earnings before placing a trade? It depends on what the trade is. Thank you. I appreciate you, Daniel. Have a good night, man. All right. So GitLab has been around for 3 days. As much as I would like to be able to help you with this, there's nothing I can do. Right now, it looks like you set up a little bit of a flag, but yeah, it's too soon, literally too soon. So looks like sellers are stronger than the buyers. You've lost momentum. So it's too soon to chart this. So, all right. Um, did I do Apple? Oh, AMPY. Um, so I already have this one charted. Now, this did pull back out of that reversal pattern, or it did kind of pull back a little bit, but never really pulled back. It sat flat. And so far has just gapped up, holding that hourly 200. Um, Honestly, it looks like that whole ribbon indicator is definitely going to be pretty impactful. I would. So I'm looking at this. I want to verify myself. Okay, so I do see an angle here. So this is highly speculative, but that's kind of what I see at the moment. So this is your resistance, and this is your dynamic support. So keep an eye on those. You may end up trading like this, and before you see your next move out. All right. Okay, so Apple filled a gap today, which gives me an idea that if we gap up tomorrow, we're going to possibly pull back. A lot of our moving averages are lagging. We do have the inverse head and shoulders. We do have the whole ribbon indicator red. Not a ton of momentum here. We did have a decent spike in volume as well this morning. Looking at this 4-hour chart. Uh, All together bounce off of the 9-day moving average, breaking that 50. So I have a target above you, 147.50, and we did see a lot of call flow for that particular strike. And then above that is 148.75 as well. Is the next level above that. Now, as far as making our way there, it is important to remember the economic calendar. Of course, I think we get potentially October 19th, we'll get that data in on housing permits and building permits. October 20th, we'll get a relatively low. We have crude oil inventories, but aside from that, we have the initial claims happening here as well on the 21st that are definitely going to be relatively high impact. So, all that to be said, we still have earnings coming up next week. So it's just a little bit of a micro gap here at 146.80. Oh no, we hit that gap. Never mind. I apologize. So yeah, that's going to be where you're going to want to move to the upside here. You've got a couple different levels, but 148.65 would be my overall target here. But do expect a pullback before that happens. And if you're looking at your trend, looks like it's riding the 50-day EMA at the moment. Let me go see. So watch for a pullback, maybe even a flag into support here, but this is your support. So keep an eye on this trend line to continue moving to the upside. All right, guys. After this couple of requests, I gotta hop off. So I apologize if I didn't get to your chart. Those of you in the Discord, you guys, I will be live bright and early with you guys trading pre-market. This can change every day. If I hear news early in the morning at 5:30, I'm gonna tag everybody and let you know that I'm getting on the Discord. So I will be early on bright and early. You guys can always ask me about any tickers, and it's always best to see it in the morning because then I can give you an updated version on how I feel about the stock. Um, so anyway, Piton, good strong bounce off of this level. Decent spike in volume as well. RSI still has room to run, but it was that $89 target that you ended up rejecting. So watching this one going forward, you didn't get so you see right here, you do have that flag type setup. So you're flagging here and retesting this level. I'd want to see a climb. And this is oftentimes how I decide to re-enter a trade is if you have this exact setup where you're below that 9-day moving average, but you can see that it's a respectable one. So you see 2 wicks off of it. I'd like to see a move back above it. And that oftentimes that's going to be $88. So $88 on Piton, and you could see a potential range break to the upside here. If you go look at that hourly time frame, that's going to be 89.25 to the upside with the potential gap fill, tiny gap fill at 91.65, which will likely be where that 200-day EMA is. And then if you look at the daily right now, it is important to keep in mind that this thing has very little momentum, but all signs on the daily point up. Is anybody still in Sophie, by the way? Does anybody have Sophie? Long calls? Nobody? Anybody in Sophie? I don't know. If anybody is, yeah, let me know. So we had a price target of like $2.50. You're retesting. Nice. So you retested. Yeah, I signaled a $20 call for November 19th, I believe, like about a week and a half ago or something, or maybe it was, I don't know, it feels like a week and a half. So anyway, strong move to the upside on Sophie. This is that previous supply, right? Above you. So you're testing that. So that's where you're going to see a whole lot of resistance here on Sophie. And honestly, as far as you've ran from that price target raise, I would be very careful about trying to buy. You want to buy red, not green. So this is the channel top, and this is your channel bottom. So there's Sophie. You could see a pullback back down, retesting somewhere around the $20.23. You're still in on Sophie from that signal. Nice. Maybe you think about taking profits, set up that channel for yourself. You do have a gap to fill all the way down here. We don't know if that'll get filled, but just be careful and watch that channel. It's the clock. That's all good. You should be up on that signal. So FedEx. Okay, so FedEx. Ooh, look at my arrow. Look at it. Look at it. Just look at it. Would you look at that? Okay, so my thought process on FedEx was a retest of the channel bottom. And that was also simultaneously. So you'll see here if I set up this mark, right here. So not only is this a test and downtrend, right? Or a retest of this support, it's also a test of this level here, 235, right? And this level here, 235. That's also the start of the gap. Now that gap is going to be pretty crazy. We are running into the holiday season, so there could be people starting to anticipate seeing FedEx move to the upside. So tomorrow, 229. It looks like that's actually 220, 230, excuse me, 230. Watch for that trip up to 235, and that's where that gap fills. So about Discord, how can I watch? So there's a premium Discord. If you guys are looking to trade with us tomorrow, there's a premium Discord. You can go through our website. There's a website. If you go onto my Twitter and go to my link tree, you can go through my bio. So now you're going to go in the Discord, but to go to the website, it's literally www.simplestacksinvesting.com. So there's like literally the domain name is us. So you can check that out. So if he looks like it might pull back a little bit though. So anyway, FedEx looks pretty decent here. I'll look at RCAT and I'm about to go to bed. So anyway, this is that's FedEx. I might actually add that one to the watch list. Um, oh, sorry, Angel. Oh, also Lowe's. Will Lowe's go down tomorrow? I mean, it's going to go down eventually, but right now it's showing very little signs of weakness. So, below 221, you could expect a reversal, but at this moment on Lowe's, it does look like you are ripping. And Lowe's can look at the way that Lowe's rips. It rips. It can rip for days. So, looks like you're mid swing. So you could see 4, 5, 6 more days of FedEx or of Lowe's ripping. So it's worth keeping an eye on. Of course. I did do Apple, yes. Our cat has a wedge, pattern recognition. Oh, actually, see a little triangle there. So right above the 200-day moving average is marking your reversal. So it looks like you're going to get our cat above $3.05. Um, there's a huge gap, obviously, at 441 on our cat, but right now you're kind of making that downwards wedge. You're going to need to get around 340, but right now the volume is really low. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. 80% of people finished green today. That's really great. Um, Chris, no, I didn't. I'll do that one if I missed. If this is a pharmaceutical company. All right, so you obviously have a whole a low amount of liquidity. I'll do this one really quickly. So you have a pretty low amount of liquidity on this stock. Um, it's gonna be kind of hard to not force something here. Um, but this is kind of what I'm looking at here on the daily. So it does seem like there's a respectable angle there. That seems to be so really elongated and weird, almost wedge type setup right now. You have an R breaking to a low. If you do end up getting above to 113, this doesn't matter, and this support is null and void. So, honestly, at this moment, I don't know what the stock is, but it's just slowly sinking after several pumps. So I'd be starting to look at the fundamentals on this one. So. Um, what do you mean? You'd have to DM me, Henny, and kind of tell me what you're talking about. But all right, guys, that's it. Thank you guys so much. Gonna talk to TikTok here for a second. Thank you guys though. Sorry about that. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early. Discord members, bright and early, earlier. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys tonight or tomorrow.